This is the driver's side orange panel that connects all of the IMA batteries. I just thought I'd walk through this and kind of show you some of the more interesting parts of it. So connected to this are four, I think that's four lines right here to the, what do they call them? They're thermal sensors. And these two wires here go from the positive input of the whole battery to the negative input of the whole battery. So this wire here is for the positive lead, and this wire here goes all the way around the bottom, comes up here to the negative lead. Just to kind of track all of these batteries, it makes sense to think of them in sequence. So this would be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. So T is the negative output, and A is the positive output or connector. You might notice these two here, A and T, have they connect. They actually expose themselves through a washer and longer bolt out to the junction board. So they expose themselves. These two also, this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, and I, they also have these same longer things, and that's because they also expose themselves out to the junction board, because the junction board is responsible for breaking the circuit into two halves. And one half is just these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 6 is a total, what is that? 8 times 7 is roughly 60 volts. And then this one here, see, 12, we have 12 sticks here, which count 12 times roughly 7 is 84, 90. Anyway, but it breaks them up into two circuits. And without the junction board, if you're going to test from here to there, you'll find there's a severed connection right here. So you can use a voltage meter to test these as you go along. And from there to there, let's see. That's 46. And that says 60, around 60. But if we try to go to this one here, it's not connected. That's because it severs it here. And if we do the same thing here, $30, $40, this is the C. I'll do this again. 15, 30, 40, 45, 60. Oh, it's too much. I'm overloading it. Okay. I can cut this shorter. Here, let's try this. That's 15. What is going on there? All right. There seems to be some sort of, I don't know if it's the way I'm measuring it. I measured it earlier and it was just fine. This is 15.46. Let's kick it up to 200. That's 30.6. That's 46.2. And that's too much. So let's bring this in. 15. Oh, that's also 15. There's 30. There's some sort of connection problem here. Let's see if I can be very, very careful when you're doing this, because this is hot. But I'm only doing it with one hand and I'm not touching anything else. Oh, that's a little loose right there. Okay. So let's try this. 15, 30, 45. The next one should be 60. Good, it's 60. 77.3. 92.8. Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to, if you have what you think is a short, if these guys come loose, that's why you want to make sure they're tight. This is a good way to find out which one's loose. So we have roughly 92 volts here and roughly 61 volts there. You put them together, what is that? 150, 151, 152. Which is above 144, but 144 is the nominal voltage. Here we're actually doing the real voltage that we are trying to find out. So what was I explaining? Oh yeah, so that's this board. And on the other side, you have a very similar board, but it's much simpler. It's just a mirror image, and it connects all of the circuits. So when you think of the battery sticks are always sort of measured in pairs. So this is one pair, that's 15 volts. That's another pair, that's another 15 volts. Goes all the way up. And the way that the battery condition module knows is there is a series of wires that connects to each one of these pairs. And there's this here. Oh, let's see if I can move it on to, oh yeah, you can't see it. Sorry. This here, it actually plugs into the, what we would consider the backside of the battery condition module. And this is what, how the battery condition modules knows the voltage of every pairs of these. It only breaks it down into a series of pairs of sticks. So it knows how far away it is from 15, which is what it should be measuring. The next thing I'm going to do is, I was using was using I had taken off the fan in order to verify what was going on with the sticks. That didn't prove to be too useful. I'm going to go ahead and return the fan just so I keep track of the screws, and I don't really need it to be off anymore. I'm going to go ahead and stop the film here, and we'll, here, while we're looking at that, let's look at the passenger side, the batteries. Okay, yes. Here again, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T. That's the T stick. That's the A stick. If you'll notice, below every one of these is a little screw that goes in to a metal plate that I believe that is, I'm not actually sure what that's used for. Early on I had a thought that it must connect to the batteries themselves, because if you'll notice, over on the driver's side is the side that has the junction board, and it's a lot more complicated. We're actually drawing A and B, power from A and B. Strangely enough, the sole purpose of these two things is for this. And if I'm not mistaken, this plugs into the front of the other board that sits alongside the battery condition module.
I'm trying to connect.
I will let you know how that goes, or let you know after I figure out what that module is. For now, I'll go ahead and stop filming, and I'll put this back on, and we'll pick it up from there. I have reattached the fan and the junction board. The junction board was actually an important thing to reattach because it allows you to turn on and off the battery supply. There are other ways you can do it with jumper wires, but this connects the two strings of sticks. One that is the first, I think it's 8 sticks with 62 volts, and the second one, which is 96 volts or something like that. So now it's all 144 volts nominal. And what I'm gonna do is I have connected up to this pin right here, this one right here, and that's the positive. That's also why the junction box is important. And this here is the negative, and they go off, follow the line, they go off to power this bulb. And I'm draining the battery. I'm going to drain it first of all to 96 volts, and I've got a multimeter to test that. I figured I'd give it an hour and test the voltage, and then give it another hour and then test the voltage. And I'll let you know how that's going. Let's check back in an hour. So it's been about 2 hours rather than the 1 hour. Bulb is still lit. I'm going to find out how much voltage I've lost. First of all, let's unplug the light so we stop discharging. There we go. Now I need to test the voltages on the remaining pack. Set my voltmeter. Let's do it over here. I've got it set to 0 to 200 volt range. Alrighty. It's 135.9. Okay. I'll check in 2 more hours and see where we are. It's been 4 hours. I'm gonna stop the drain, stop the discharge. We will check out what the voltage is. Uh, 124.6. Okay. That was 124.6. We will check again in another 2 hours. We are now 6 hours in, and first of all, unplug the light. All right, now I'm going to check the voltage. This says 96.6. We are almost at the stopping point. In fact, I may hold it there because I don't want to go below. I don't really have an auto stop at 96 volts, which is what I wanted. So I'm going to play around with doing it in 10-minute increments. All right. So we'll check the voltage in 10 minutes. That was pretty close. That was like 6 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this. Check the voltage. Went under 92 volts, 92.2. That's okay, close enough. So now that I've sort of taken them all down to 92 volts, I'm going to fully charge them all the way up, and that will be one cycle of three, what do they call that? Oh, I'm not sure. Anyway, I'm trying to verify that all the cells are up to snuff. This was the charger that I used previously to charge the battery. I had to cut these connections in order to extract it from the IMA steel enclosure, and then reattach them. And now the battery is turned on. You can see that oh, sorry, it's off right now. Okay, so I'm about to turn it on. But before I do that,
I'm trying to connect.
I'm gonna hook this camera up so we can see anything that happens when we go to plug this baby in. We might let the smoke genie out. Might do a lot of stuff. So here we go. First of all, I'm gonna turn the battery on. Battery's live. I'm about to plug the charger in. Okay, here we go. That's a really good sign. That means the fan is working. That's really good. And it's blowing on my hand, which is another really good sign, because that means it's pulling the hot air away from the battery. It is now 7:20. Let's go ahead and see what the voltage is on this baby. Should be around 92 volts. I'm about to test it. This always makes me nervous. Okay, it says 100 and it's 100 and, well, it's kind of dancing around 104, 103. $120. Okay, it currently says 120. Okay, and it settled down to 120. All right. So that would also indicate that the charger is doing its job. Let's check it out in half an hour. So using the charger over here and the discharger over there, I've put this battery through 3 cycles of discharge, charge, discharge, charge, discharge, charge. The first one was down to 96 volts, and then back up to full, and then down to, I think it was 60 volts, then back up to full, and then down to around 16 volts, which is pretty low, and then back up. And then what I did was, I'm in the process of connecting all of the things that don't prevent me from working on the batteries, but should be connected to the battery, like the junction board and the fan. And I'm going to put, I think this is the battery control module, and I think that's the motor drive module. And I'm going to put those back in, or attach them, just to keep everything together. And I've got some cells to test. That's the next step. Of course, in order to test these cells individually, I will need to remove the junction board, which is here. And on the other side, I'll need to remove this protective plastic barrier. That should be fairly easy. This will be a little harder. So that'll be the next step. You may be wondering why I'm bothering to put these things on, like the junction board and the modules, both battery control module and the motor control module, when I don't quite need them on there yet. I like to do that in order to keep things together so I don't lose the bolts and the screws and the nuts that I'm removing in order to do this. But if I put them all sort of back together, then I don't lose them. I've reattached the modules on top, and I've removed the junction box so I don't have to unhook it. I just placed it here on top of the battery. And I've reinserted these 4 bolts so that I can test the voltage of the individual sticks. I've got to turn around and attack this end before I can access the full sticks.